Hello, this is As the World Burns, December 8th, 2021. I'm your host, Randall Burns. Today's topic is the valuation of Tesla Incorporated. And what I've noticed is there's a lot of confusion around this. You have a lot of analysts out there, saying, trying to value Tesla as an automotive manufacturer. And they do make automobiles, but they also do other things that are very important. They are a technology company. They have a chip production capability that's in excess of most other chip manufacturers. They have a world-class AI group. They have an energy division. They are operating as a utility right now within Texas. So I took a first pass on this, and I made a list of comparable companies, which will be in the description below. And I looked at them. The first thing to remember is that Tesla's mission statement is to move the world towards sustainable energy. That's their job. That's what they're trying to do. And the automotive move is simply a first step towards that. Notably, automobiles are the major means by which people consume oil at this point. And the biggest energy companies in the world are oil companies. But that's only part of it. That's only part of the agenda. But now the company that I would argue that is the most comparable to Tesla and actually competes against them head to head in very important segments is Nvidia. Now, the market cap of Nvidia as of December 8th, 2021 is about $800 billion. Okay, that alone, and I would argue actually that Tesla has capabilities in excess of Nvidia. Now, Nvidia does have things like their graphic chip business, but that's not really where the big value there is. So, and I'm going to make a case at the end of the video why I think it's a wash in terms of the things that Nvidia does that Tesla doesn't do. So we're going to just add the $800 billion in today as a major component. Now, auto manufacturing. Tesla, in my opinion, within 10 years is well on track to becoming the world's largest manufacturer of automobiles and eclipsing Toyota, whose current market cap is $252 billion. Now, add on to that insurance. Tesla is very aggressively going after the insurance business. It's a very high margin business, and they realize that their customers are not being adequately served by the rather stodgy insurance industry in the United States, who I would argue have been not doing their job for quite some time and have been, quite frankly, buying politicians to stay in business. And I say that as somebody who, as I pointed out in the previous video, worked on an investigation that successfully incarcerated a workers' comp insurance executive. And that evaporated $400 million of his $550 million net worth, official net worth. I think there were some slush funds that got omitted from that. But that's speculative on my part. But the point of it is that that's the type of things that the U.S. insurance business has been doing rather than providing good customer service. And Tesla's becoming painfully aware of that. And they are realizing that they can provide a much better product by putting on their thinking cap instead of buying politicians, which is what they're doing. Now, they may not be allowed to field in all states, but I think that you'll see that in states where they do, they will be providing a much better product to qualified customers. And so basically the only customers that will not be getting Tesla insurance if they have an applicable vehicle will be the customers that insurance companies don't want. I mean, so yes, I'm putting them down as, so the the largest market cap insurance company in the United States right now is State Farm Insurance, $116 billion. Energy. A company that we know and love, Exxon Mobil. A company that I would argue should be brought before the Hague and for crimes against humanity for purposely and systematically holding back evidence and obfuscating evidence on climate change. But Tesla's fixing the problem. Now, once ExxonMobil is no longer providing an essential service, maybe the Hague will grow a pair of balls and step up and do their job and do something to bring some of these execs and shareholder and board members to justice. I think it ought to be done. I mean, I personally think these people should be prohibited from ever doing business of any type again. And I'm not, I'll put it this way. I think it's a little much to hope for execution or a life prison sentence. But governments need money. They can confiscate the assets and put these people on under house arrest under nice conditions and an allowance, not the lifestyle they've become accustomed to, but better than a lot of people would expect. And simply prohibit them from doing any independent business. Put them, keep them on a very tight leash. Make them ineligible to sign contracts of any type. Okay. But the point is that these people, is that Exxon right now still controls a market cap of 266 ill-gotten gains, coming at the expense, I would argue, largely of the American taxpayer who bailed them out of problems in the Middle East to the tune of trillions of dollars. But the people that are going to fix the problem, it looks like, will be Tesla, who's going to eat their lunch because solar is now cheaper than oil. And yes, oil has some niches that'll persist for a while, but 10 years from now, I think that Tesla's energy business will have a larger market cap than Exxon Mobil. Utilities. Okay, the largest utility in the United States is New Era Energy. I have nothing against them. I know nothing about them. I've not done any research on them for this video. But I think it's a safe bet that Tesla's home power division, which does have segments that operate like a utility, kind of a distributed utility of plugging into the grid, they're going to exceed that market cap by 2031. Just the value of that segment of the company. Now, what I did was a pretty standard evaluation analysis. I discounted everything by 6% from nominal. And I came up with an evaluation of, other than Nvidia, which I think should be handled directly because it's a peer-to-peer at the moment. Tesla and Nvidia are competing for the same market in the automotive market, which is the bass string in the dance. And they both have businesses outside of that, but we'll just say that those are a wash for the moment. And the emerging businesses for Tesla, I give a 1.06 times taken to the 10th gives me a discount of factor 1.79. I add up the value of these market caps, 811, discount it down to 453. 453 plus 800 is 1,253. So the current market cap as of today is 1,070 billion. So my analysis says that Tesla is still undervalued, just as is right at the moment. Okay. Now, this does not take into account, for example, the political ramifications when people wake up and realizing just how massive the subsidies have been to corrupt insurance companies, corrupt energy companies. there could be a real backlash there as people realize that there's an alternative. I don't think you don't see children oohing and eyeing over Exxon Mobil or Berkshire Hathaway products, even with the cute little gecko, which was a slick marketing move, I have to admit. Um, Exxon Mobil does not get a lot of love. Um, Next Air Utility, I'm sorry, there's not a lot of customer loyalty there. They'll go where people go where it's cheapest and most convenient. Okay, so I think this is a conservative estimate as of today. Okay, and so I think like within a year, I think that it's a pretty safe bet there'll be a 20% increase as this all becomes pretty apparent to people. And the things I'm leaving out, there are specific business segments that I'm leaving out. The mass transit equipment market, Tesla has a prototype in Las Vegas. They're still using drivers. I think that's where we're going to see automation first be demonstrated on a large scale. It's a controlled environment. It's not they don't have a lot of regulatory hassles. The Las Vegas and Nevada governments are bending over backwards to cooperate. And the federal government is just a non-issue in this case. And so what that's going to show is a prototype of Teslas being used, not competing against Toyotas and Hondas, but against companies like Bombardier, which is a major manufacturer of rapid transit equipment in Canada. And the thing is, they have a transit solution with this that is much cheaper for suitable environments than the alternatives that are out there now. If you look at per mile and per passenger, it's not a high-end solution. It's a relatively inexpensive solution. Now, it's a little confusing because they partner with another one of Elon Musk's companies, the Boring Company, to provide a complete turnkey operation. But the thing is, there are markets like India, for example, has, I think, under a tenth the rapid transit per citizen that you have in China. That's a huge market. I mean, I personally think the Tesla factory in India should be earmarked specifically to just providing rapid transit solutions for the next few years. And they should build a factory with that in mind. And because just catching India up to China with their public transit facilities would be a major step forward. And it would, by the way, I think, lock in the automotive market for Tesla within the subcontinent for quite some time. And there's a lot of other countries that are in worse shape in this respect than India is. And this, I think, is going to turn out to be the right solution. Ride hailing. Okay, Uber's current market cap is 75 billion. That's something I think that with an automated solution could be considerably expanded. But the best forecasts I have show that full self-driving we're talking about 8 years away. It's not going to happen in the next 2 or 3 years, except in controlled environments like the Boring Company can provide. So that's a little more speculative, a little bit beyond the scope of this forecast. I'm not going to plug in numbers for that for the next 10 years. Infotainment sales. Tesla has a captive audience for people using their automotive software solution. Okay. The licensing of the automotive solution, which I think is actually factored into the Nvidia price. But Tesla, I think, really has a lead in that whole area. I think they just have a much more turnkey and better solution. And if they aggressively license, I think they will be the dominant player in that market. And then I'm also not factoring in the market expansion of either energy or transportation by reduced cost per mile. I'm also not looking into major expansions to markets. For example, heavy equipment and agricultural equipment is a place where the autonomy software really should be licensed in a few years. And I don't think that's a market that Tesla really wants to mess with. I think they would be better off letting, cooperating with companies like Caterpillar and Komatsu along those lines and enabling them as much as they can. I think that's the right solution for their mission, which is to bring the world to sustainable energy. Where the companies are competent, they should not be disturbing them. One thing I plan on doing a video on that's related to this. When people think of EVs right now, they're thinking of automobile replacements or small or truck replacements. What they're missing is that the market in e-bikes has been actually growing faster than the market of electric cars. And there's a lot more e-bikes out there than there are cars. And that market is highly competitive. Those companies are not corporate welfare cases. They are moving pretty dang fast and they're pretty small and nimble. But there's a place for Tesla there also. And it's not as a competitor making yet another e-bike. But no e-bike manufacturer has anything like the software and hardware electronics capability that Tesla has. Tesla could be providing solutions to that market and enabling safety and enabling the expansion of sustainable energy as per their mission in a way that none of these manufacturers could do. And it would not disturb any of the manufacturers. It would empower them. Everybody would be happy. And it would also start the consumers out as a young age because these are not a licensed product. So that means both scooters, e-bikes, e-trikes, and for that matter, electric roller skates. Now, the thing I have in mind there is simply enabling people to be safer on these than what they are now in environments where they may be encountering cars. And for Teslas or companies licensing Tesla software and hardware, there's a lot that can be done in that respect. And even for the legacy vehicles, there's something that can be done there. And Tesla has a whole block of sensors out there. They can tell people, for example, there's an erratic driver on the road. You can't see them. Get to the side now. And that would solve a major problem that form of electric vehicle has right now, which is safety. And it's not safety from the vehicle itself, it's safety from the legacy vehicles on the road. So, and we're also not talking yet about the robotics business, which is another area they've staked out, but I think that's further than 10 years out from being really a major player on the revenue yet, or in the revenue stage. So the big thing I hope you got from this is a little different way of thinking about Tesla as a company and how we evaluate them going forward. This is Randall Burns. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Thank you very much. And any ideas for future videos are certainly welcome. This is As the World Burns signing off December 8th, 2021. Thank you.